human body. It is the same way that when they say it's a full moon, I don't know how to say it, but you know, sometimes they say the full moon because everything is kind of moving around. I mean, kids are getting excited, animals are really getting wild. And if you go close to an ocean, you're gonna see how the waves are also getting really angry. That's the effect of the moon on the nature. And it affects not only those things that I just cited, but also human beings. And that's why when we talk of the birth of the seed, that is going to start its journey up to heaven, is within that same period that the seed is born. And it started circulating our body until it reaches the optimal part of our brain. And if we cultivate it very well, then it will open what we call the third eye. When people talk about the third eye, people go, they get scared. Oh, Illuminati. It has nothing to do with it. And we have been indoctrinated in this culture of fear that every time that they talk about something like the third eye, oh, it's an Illuminati, it's this, it's this. It has nothing to do with that. And that's the question that I ask to myself. What is it that we're actually learning in the Sunday school? Two things. Are the preachers ignorant enough just to teach us these stories from the book that they call the Bible as stories? Or are they scared that if they teach us right, we're going to compete and maybe overtake whatever that they don't want us to overtake? I don't know. I've never been to a Bible school. I've never been into a theology kind of education. But I just do my own research where I read and it makes sense to me, because we are sitting here right now. If we initiate ourselves into understanding, knowing thyself, I can guarantee the power that we're going to generate out there. People will be amazed. Because what happens is that when that third eye is open, you're able to connect with everything. You're able to have power over everything. But the truth is, if you use it in a way to get power, it's going to destroy you. Because again, it boils down to the karmic law of action and reaction. Whatever we do, whatever power that we have, if we use that power for the good service of humanity, it's going to come back to us multiple fold. So some people who initiate in calling themselves maybe Illuminati, when they get to that stage, when they see, oh, I've got power. Because actually, what happened is that when that third eye open, then you have no limits to what you can have access to. So some people, what they do, when they discover that amazing energy, they start taking advantage of other people. And that's what brings destruction. And all those people who call themselves Illuminati, if you dig and see how they end up their life, unless they really understand the secret about it, that you have to become philanthropic, actually doing that, using that energy and using that strength for the good cause of humanity, then you're protected. If not, it's going to destroy you. So, in Africa, where I come from, this is the thing, because as I grew up, I saw some things, and now I'm trying to understand these things. I would say this. We have very important ceremonies in Africa. The birth ceremony, the marriage ceremony, and the death ceremony. During this ceremony, some things happen. Some extraordinary, amazing performances. I will explain this to Mr. Tu. I don't know if you remember. You see someone who's doing a very unique traditional performance, especially during the death ceremony. The same person that is dancing in this room, performing a dance in this room, You go to the house next door, you're going to find the same person performing exactly the same dance. You're going to call it black magic. It is not black magic. I mean, I just was like, oh my God. You say, okay, when I was children, I would say, oh, go and look at the room. And I see the same person who's dancing in this room, that's the same person who's dancing over there, performing exactly the same dance. But as I grew up and start doing my own this, I said, this is no black magic. This is just something normal. Because when you elevate yourself to a certain level, you become fluid. Because you can actually go through this wall. You can go through this wall because it's not a barrier anymore. That's the reason why people travel all over the world. I mean, people who leave Africa right now, I mean, what time is it? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. People who do witchcraft, they'll be coming here to party in Washington, in a nightclub. And before 4 o'clock in the morning, they're back to Africa. And they wake up in their bed. So when you think about how these things happen, you call it black magic. But it's not black magic. It's actually understanding thyself. What I don't like about witchcraft, because it's destructive, but the concept is the same. People have gotten to a stage where they can leave this body, have a mastery of this body, and command this body to do whatever they want the body to do. They have understood that. Some of us will use it to hurt others or to take advantage of others, and some of us will use it for good causes. This chapter, Kingdom at Hand, it just boils down to the fact that know thyself. And knowing thyself is taking care of this temple. This is the temple, our body. We can protect it or we can destroy it. This body wasn't really built even to get old. We use our body and we misuse our body to the extent where we destroy our body, in most cases beyond repair. And once we do that, there's no turning around. There's no turning back. You have to wait for the next life to start all over again. So this first chapter, that's exactly what it's talking about. We need to know ourselves. So starting from today, we can think of how to take care of our body. Be careful what we put in this body. The food that is being sold out there, or the drinks that are being sold out there, are they really good for us? Are we really good? Are they really good for our body? But we keep consuming that. It's like trashing our body, really, when you think about it. Now, let's look at the level of our thoughts. How do we think about people who are around us? How do we think about ourselves? These thoughts are very, very, very important in really taking care of our body as well. Let's take another example. Whether we like it or not, our body is really a reflection of what we have in our psychology. It really is. If right now you start saying that you are sick, you are sick, you are sick, believe me, in about an hour, you're going to get sick. As simple as that. Just like you will say, I may be hurting somewhere, but guess what? I'm going to get better. 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 You believe it, you get into yourself, believe me, you're going to get better. That's the power that we have. If you are eating a good meal, just to show you the connection between our psychology and our body, and you are not spiritually elevated, you are eating a good meal that you love. and then your phone rings. And you pick up the phone, and somebody is telling you about your child being involved in an accident. Are you going to continue enjoying that meal? It's going to change, right? You're going to lose appetite. I mean, as a human being. Because your psychology has impacted the way your body feels. Even though your body was enjoying that food, but that psychology has just turned things around. But that would be different if you really know who you are. Because nothing is a surprise to you. Something will come to you, spiritually elevated, whether your daughter being involved, your son being involved in an accident, that would not change anything. Because you're spiritually elevated and you know that whatever it is, you can take care of it. So it's not going to disturb you. It's not going to change the way you are enjoying that food. I mean, just to show you the power of spiritual elevation. Kingdom at hand, knowing thyself. When you ask someone who goes to church and you see sometimes how overweight they are, they even have difficulties walking, and you ask them, how are you? The response that I always get, I'm blessed. How can you be blessed? What can you can barely move. When you can barely carry your body. And you go into this service that can actually teach you to change the way you appear physically. That book that we call the Bible has so much power that if we read it spiritually, intelligently, we can do amazing things. But that's not what I see. I don't know about you, but that's not the experience that I've had as I was growing up. That's my frustration. That's my frustration. And I have nothing to against religion. I really don't have anything against it. But the way I look at it is that if we could really do it the right way, we'll save more people than hurting more people. Because people have become so weak today because they're waiting for some kind of a divine intervention to grow spiritually. Whereas you can actually do it yourself by knowing thyself.
Let me ask you a question. What you said is absolutely true. So the question becomes, how did we get from a people who knew that and once operated at the level of God's, what happened to put us where we are now? What dynamic, something changed?
Yeah. Again, I mean, I can actually give two types of answers to this. Number one, the decline of African civilization, which lasted longer than any other civilization on this earth. And I don't see any other civilization lasting more than African civilization that is sometimes confined into Egyptian civilization, but it's actually African civilization. Where people were actually, because you actually had to be initiated for like at least 40 years, even to be considered a grand priest. 40 years of initiation. Now remember, when you get to that level, again, you have access to so much power that you can control everything around you. So my explanation to what happened to African civilization was, at one level, at one stage of the process, people felt so good about the power as being godlike that they started abusing it. So when you start abusing it, it creates the karmic law that I've just explained. Action and reaction.